We're myth busting today. We're going to talk about common misconceptions and myths that have to do with plants. First one has to do with repotting plants. There are a lot of people that think that if you were to repot this plant, you only have to go up to a slightly larger pot size and that you couldn't put this into a great big pot. But the truth is, you can put a plant into a much larger pot if you want to. We do it all the time here at the nursery. You just got to be careful about making sure that you don't keep it too wet if you put it into a larger pot. Next, we've got one that I personally loathe, and that is that you should water your plants with ice cubes. Most houseplants are tropical plants, which means they come from places that never freeze, ever. And so putting ice onto the roots is not good for the plants, and it's not a great way to water your plants anyway. It still blows my mind that there are so many tags on plants that still tell people to water their plants with ice. Next is the myth that poinsettias are super toxic to your pets. My family has been selling poinsettias for decades, and we have put them in hundreds of thousands of homes. Also, I have spoken with veterinarians, and poinsettias are very, very low on the toxicity scale and one of the least toxic things that you can put in your house for your pets. I've made detailed videos about this topic you can check out in the past if you want to know more. Next is that you should wait until your plants start to droop before you water them. And I see this a lot with things like peace lily. If your plants are so dry that they are wilting, then you could be actually stressing your plants out too much or even causing tissue damage in those plants. So it's better to check the soil and feel when it starts to dry out and then give it water then before they get to super extremely dry. Next, let's talk about putting coffee grounds in your plants. It might be okay to put coffee grounds in your plants, but it also might not. Coffee grounds are going to lower the soil pH, which may or may not be a good thing. But the other thing to consider is that coffee grounds contain caffeine even when they are used, and caffeine has been shown to actually slow down plant growth. Here's another one that I see a lot is that you should put rocks in the bottom of your pot to improve drainage. This can actually be detrimental to your plants because the water tends to accumulate in that area between the bottom of the soil and the top of the rocks. So you can actually end up raising the water table or causing worse drainage. It's better for you to actually use a potting soil that is more chunky or well draining. And the last one we'll talk about today is that you should water your plants based on a schedule. While it might make your life easier to say, I water my houseplants every Sunday or something like that, it's better to actually look at the needs of the individual plants and only water them when they actually need water, because that's going to change as the seasons change throughout the year and the days are longer and the temperatures fluctuate. So hopefully that helps you out to get everything right with your houseplants, and let me know if there are other myths that you want me to bust.